This morning we're going to be talking about probability. And the good news is a lot of you already know about probability, and so you'll be bringing knowledge that you already have into what we're doing. We're going to be doing some probabilistic experiments, and you'll be actually doing those, and then you'll collect your own data individually at your table, and then you'll put it on the board so that we can look and see what happens as a class. And we'll be looking for a couple new terms or terms that you might have heard before. Empirical probability, thinking about theoretical probability, how those are related, and looking for some rules of probability that you probably know, but we'll define them, and the law of large numbers. And then we want you to think about how these experiments that you're doing, the probabilistic experiments, also sort of called scenarios for short sometimes, how they might be related and can be used in other situations. Okay? So I'm going to pass out these sheets first. I'll let you start these around. And we're going to work in teams because that's the natural setting. You certainly could be doing this in groups of 2 or up to 4 is probably reasonable. But here, I think, just since you're sitting next to each other, teams of 2 will work very nicely in this classroom. In this, I actually had expected larger groups and didn't make a lot of extra copies. So I think generally I take up 1 copy per group. Okay. So you'll start by reading the introductory scenario, answering a question, and then while you're doing that, I'm going to pass out pennies, which will be the first thing we use. Then you'll get some candy, and you need to know that you use the candy for a couple of pages before you eat it, but then you can eat it.
Okay, you'll flip and I record it.
Yeah, everybody gets to flip. So as soon as you get your data collected, we want to put it on the board, okay? So we'll have to work kind of quickly through the data collection parts. All right. You can, just go ahead, that's fine. Interesting. Interesting. You're making me wonder if you've got fair flips over some of these cases.
First time I dropped it.
You could be thinking about how many times you would expect to get it versus in your case how many times you did. All right. So you can start adding up so we can see what the conclusion is for the entire class. Is everybody's up so far? Everybody's up? Okay.
14.
So what do we have in, I'll let people tell me. 74. Oh, good. Nice. Okay. Consistent. I like to hear the same answer more than once. 6. Was that what you expected?
Mm-hmm.
I heard no. No. What were you expecting?
50.
We kind of 50-50. About 50-50, but not exactly. Well, can you give me this as what's our total here?
130.
Just so, because so 130. So what are my percentages? Well, so if we've got 57% and 43%. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, you have some questions to answer to see how your data is related to those. We might be wondering how you're flipping. I'll let you answer those, and then we'll be ready for answering a couple questions and then a new scenario. So you can just use the summary information on your paper. You won't need everything. And then I have a couple of questions for you. All right. So I am curious, do you remember what empirical probability is? Do you know that word empirical? It just means from experience, right? So from experience, and that's what you were doing. You were creating that experience. So the empirical probability, what is empirical probability?
The experience of possibility.
Yeah, so is this an empirical probability? Or is this an exact theoretical probability? This is empirical. This is from your experience, from your simulation. Okay?